Hi everyone, I'm Larissa Russell of Creative You, and I'm your host of the Creative Soul Healing Podcast. Here's where we talk about the connection between creativity and healing by interviewing amazing creatives, spectacular healers, and inspiring people who have used creativity in their healing. What does it mean to be creative? What is creativity? You don't have to write a best-selling book or paint a masterpiece or even play in a rock band. Creativity is in everything that we do, in the ways we think, in the way we run a business. In our everyday lives, we are creative all the time. Let's talk about how we are creative and how creativity helps us heal mentally, physically, and emotionally, right now on the Creative Soul Healing Podcast. Hi everyone, I'm Larissa Russell from Creative You. Welcome to the Creative Soul Healing Podcast. Today we're going to do things a little differently. Today I'm going to be interviewed. My friend Cricket, who was our very first podcast guest, is going to interview me today. Say hi, Cricket.
Hello, everybody.
Cricket and I were both presenters for the Loving, Healing, Creating Summit that we ran February 2nd through 14th, and it was amazing. You can still get access to that summit at www.creativeyou.ca. So a bit about me. I have been a creative person my whole life. I have tried many creative endeavors, from interior painting specialties back in the 90s through to healing with creativity today, and everything in between in my 30 plus years of teaching and creating. I am an artist, and my favorite medium is acrylics, and my signature technique is adding metal foils. I love the flow of color against the edges of the metals. I'm also an educator, a creativity coach, an author, and a healer. I truly believe that everyone is creative in different ways. I love working with people to heal themselves through creativity, using different mediums, painting, writing, beads, meditation, and so much more. I'll now turn it over to Cricket so she can ask me those questions that I usually ask everyone else. Cricket, over to you.
Well, Larissa, thanks for showing up today and for agreeing to be interviewed. How awesomely nice of you to do that.
Oh, yes.
I would love to ask you my first question. Will you share some of your story and your path with us?
Yes, like my bio, I have been creative my whole life. But one of the things that has sort of made me who I am, if you will, is a little known fact that I was diagnosed with Asperger's at 50, so 2 years ago now. And it has affected my whole life in different ways. It makes me a little odd sometimes. I often speak in monotone, that people don't understand my tone of voice, or I have weird calculating issues. I have to calculate things. I have time issues. There's a few little odd quirks about me. As you probably know, Cricket.
But I don't see it ever impacting how you progress or move forward, either in your story or on your path. I think, if anything, I've seen as a witness your creativity and ingenuity.
It's true. And it's a funny balance that I have, because I'm a very linear thinker and yet a very creative thinker. So
Right.
I have a very odd brain that way. Started with doing painting techniques back in the 90s. Rag rolling and stenciling and all of that was really popular. And I would go into people's homes and do different painting techniques for them. And then went on to teach lots of different arts and crafts, which I'd actually been doing since I was like 16. So it's really been over 40 years. No, almost 40 years. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else about me? Well, that's what's led me here specifically, I would say, is a few years ago, I went through a really bad bout of depression that almost killed me. And it was my creativity that actually brought me back, and starting with journaling and then starting to do my art again. And that really brought me to where I am today. And combining healing with creativity has been an amazing experience. And that's why I want to share that with everybody.
Perfect. That's a perfect beginning to your healing story today with us. What does healing with creativity mean to you then, based on everything you've just said?
Yeah. I mean, healing with creativity is absolutely everything to me. It's
right.
who I am. It was life-saving for me. So, I mean, creativity is in everything we do, but when we set intention with our creativity, so with my journaling, with my painting, with any of the sort of creative endeavors that I do. Like I do a lot of different things. Even if I'm crocheting a blanket,
Right.
it's almost meditative. And so it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It all brings me back to center, if you will.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. What's the driving force that inspires you?
Oh, I think the fact that I think, okay, well, besides the Asperger's and being a Capricorn and being totally driven and linear in a lot of things and getting things done, I think that it's really the healing with creativity that is my driving force, because I was able to heal myself and have really feel like I've made like so many changes in my life, and I just want to share that with other people. I want them to see and be able to experience those changes within themselves. Because I went from, a few years ago where I really started to put it into practice, from being on death's doorstep, literally, to like my life is a complete turnaround, an amazing relationship. I do amazing work. I have a nonprofit foundation. I have so many things that I have turned around in my life, and it's all because of the creativity. And that's what drives me, is being able to share that with people.
That makes a lot of sense. So I would gather then that the past pain that you've experienced is certainly informing the life purpose that you are generating and excelling at right now. How would that fit into your plan?
I mean, absolutely, because starting from childhood, and I mean, that could be a whole other book that I'll probably write next year. But I've had a lot of emotional traumas throughout my life, bouts of depression off and on. So those things have really, but I've always come back to my creativity. But when I set intention a few years ago with healing with creativity, I mean, all creativity is healing, but when I actually set intention with it, it changed everything. So I would say that sort of huge bout of depression really factored into who I am today, because it's made me really, like, it's so important for me now to share all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And although you have many different types of healing, and certainly I've seen many different types of creativity, everything from jewelry to the metallic artwork that you've done, which I personally really quite love. What do you think what is your favorite creative healing modality then? Would be your favorite in that, since I know you have quite a few?
I do have quite a few, but I think for me, when I'm really working through things, it's journaling. I write all the time.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of creative projects, as you know. And even my business is very creative. I just put out, 2 journals, and I got a book, and, different things like that. But it's the writing and putting intention in that. And so I think even more so than my painting or any of the others, my journaling, because it allows me to like process things and to purge thoughts and really get things out. So yeah, journaling would be my absolute go-to.
I think that's a great idea. And as a person who has journaled quite a bit in my life, I find that it is essential for me to categorize, to feel what am I feeling? How does that come out in writing? How can I explain it not only to myself, but also to my soul? And in regards to picking yourself up and having such a close brush with death and depression, what do you think is your greatest accomplishment to date?
I've got different awards and recognitions for different accomplishments, and, I've done some really great things over the years, but I'd say finishing writing and publishing my first book, because I had been talking about it for over 30 years. And now I have a few of them out there. And that was like a sense of accomplishment for me, because I had talked about it for so long. I think, like that would be top of mind. But, I've also have a nonprofit for the LGBT plus community that is really dear to my heart because of the high suicide rate that the LGBT plus youth have. And so the work that we're doing with that as well, I think, is a huge accomplishment. And
Right.
then really my amazing daughters. I can't take all the credit, definitely, but I'd like to take a little bit of credit for how
Mhm.
amazing they are. So yeah, those would be the main things, even past all the other awards and things like that.
I think that's great. I like that way. So, if you could change one aspect of our society through your work, what would it be?
I think mostly just if we could get rid of unrealistic expectations. If people could be kinder to themselves and to others and remember that everyone has their own journey. So
Right.
creating allows us to express. And if we could just remove those expectations and allow the creation to just be the expression instead of
Right.
needing a final product, I think that would be my number one.
I like that. I think that's really, I really like that. So it lends perfectly into the next question, which is what inspirational advice would you give to someone who is struggling?
I think the main thing would be just to keep coming back, keep trying, don't give up. I have literally spent over 30 years with the same dream and I'm finally there.
Mm,
So the creative business and book writing and helping people has always been my dream. I wanted to incorporate some sort of healing modality with my art, and I think healing with creativity has really allowed that to happen, and being able to coach people and teach people different techniques to use has been really amazing.
And I'm sure you've inspired others along the way. And even just talking about it today, it took you 30 years of never giving up on a dream, maybe putting it aside, but always maintaining that dream. So there must have been more than one inspirational author or inspirational artist that you have found comfort in. What is an inspirational quote that you would use to sum up your life's journey?
I think there's so many. I love quotes. I use quotes in all my work. All my books have quotes, and I use them in my artwork all over the place. But I found one recently that seems to really fit perfectly.
Yeah,
It's I have to read it so that I get it right. But don't quit. Never give up trying to build the world you could see, even if others can't see it. Listen to your drum only. It's the one that makes the sweetest sound. And
that's
that,
perfect.
to me, it was just like, that's exactly it. That never giving up, and your vision doesn't have to mesh with other people's visions, and you know just keep moving to the sound of your own drum.
Right.
Yeah,
Give say die, never say die. It's one of
exactly.
my mottos as well. Right. And I think, and I've known you a long time and I've seen you go through struggles and I've seen you go through lots of ways of expressing yourself through different modalities and expressing yourself in very concrete and foundational ways. I think that what I really find inspiring about you is that you are forever researching, you're forever searching your own soul, you're forever searching for ways to create and to manifest the internal into the external. And I would like to know if there's anything else that in this short time that we've spent together that you would like to add that maybe we haven't touched on that you think is important or that you would like to share further with your audience.
Yes, absolutely. But thank you for that, what you said about me, because it's true. I never really think about it because learning and has been so important for me
Yeah,
always.
yeah.
So to have that be recognized as a good thing, that's really awesome, because it's true.
Yes,
I'm constantly learning more
always.
so I can
I'm
give
always
more.
inspired.
But one of the things I would like to mention is my course, Soul Creative. It's helped so many people move through their healing using creativity. And we do a lot of creative endeavors throughout that course. Or, if you're not ready for that course, the book, Soul Creative, is available and can get you started. And so, but no matter what, keep creating and keep moving forward. So that would be my message to everyone.
I think that's a fantastic message. And as an outsider looking in, I can attest to how far you've gone in each of your learning journeys and in each of the methods that you've taken on as an artist and as an expressive creative artist, as well as a teacher. I think that you have so many modalities that you can draw from, and you have so much varied and rich life experience that your words and your way of doing things has to be an inspiration to other people. It has certainly inspired my own journey, and it has certainly inspired me to Ginsei Nai, never say die. So I'm glad that I'm on this path and on this journey with you. And I think your website and your journals and your methods of healing and teaching are going to go far and wide. And I'm really glad that you have chosen this modality via the computer and the videos in order to bring a sense of yourself and the sense of the genuine, heartfelt, honest approach that you have to healing and to others. So I wanted to add that as well. I think that you undersell yourself, and I think you really have a lot to offer, and you are an invaluable friend and an invaluable human being in my life, and I am forever grateful for you.
Oh, I'm so grateful for you too. Oh, thank you for that. And thank you so much for doing this, because the first person I thought of when I was like, oh, well, I want to be interviewed too, because we were interviewing all the summit presenters, and you were part of the summit, and, we already had done your podcast. So I was like, who would I have interview me? And my first thought was Cricket. So I thank you for that.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah. Well, thank you to our listeners, and hopefully you got to know me a little bit better, and maybe Cricket too. So we'll see you next week. And in the meantime, I wish for you all amazingly creative days. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening in. Please remember to like, share, subscribe wherever you are watching or listening. You can find us at www.creativeu.ca. That's www.creative and the letter U.ca, because we're in Canada reaching out to the whole world. See you next time on the Creative Soul Healing Podcast.